100%.
What has been the biggest challenge in that aspect of things as far as you're concerned?
Bruce just taking over the interview.
Ah!
I'm noticing this happening. How has it felt being back in France, sort of like the place that you got your start in some ways?
It's been nostalgic, to say the least. People have this misconception that because you're number one, things get easier. No, because you're number one, now you start working against yourself sometimes about, oh boy, did I do enough here? Oh, but I need to do that. Everyone should ask themselves when they're trying to attain something and they get denied, that's when, do I really want this?
It's also nice to have conversations that aren't so traditional crypto conversations, because I think that what you're describing are actually life philosophies that in this space are essential to not just survive, but to thrive in the right way with real principles that people need.
Learn about Ledger. Don't go off of what someone tells you that's just saying, oh, it's this. Find out, do your own homework on something. And if they offer more information, delve into it even more so. My routine was at home, say game day, I get up maybe around 7, be in the gym by 9, because shoot around's at 11. I get there at 9, I get a lift in, about 30-minute lift. Then I'll get up 500 shots.
500?
Then, yeah. It's 20 makes in 10 spots from mid-range and three-point range, and then selecting certain things that you're doing runners.
The discipline is crazy.
Just as it is with you.
No, that's not the same.
But when you break it down, you start like, wow, it is similar. Because...
That's you being very generous.
No, because as we were talking, are you nervous? No, I pretty much know what I'm going to say and going to do. You know that because of preparation, all the things that went on before the speech. So you're prepared. So that's what it is for us. It was preparation.
Yeah.
The off days, I'm sure you've come in on an off day before.
Doesn't everybody know it?
But
got some giggles from that one.
Well, the thing is, you came in on an off day because part of it is your passion as a leader. If you want others to exert their energies and things like that, there has to be an example. And if you're at the top, then why not it be you? It's not about you delegating everything to someone. Not saying that delegation doesn't happen, but it's not about you delegating things when it comes to getting things done for your team.
But it's interesting to me because you had so many championship moments. I mean, you were seen as such a leader, which you still are in your role in the game. When you would come back for another year, did it feel like the same type of pressure? Like, when you would do the final one, was it like, okay, like this is it, you know? Or were you like, well, I got it?
Well, it changes because life is ever changing.
Yeah.
One thing I enjoy today is, when they're talking about the cybersecurity and how like someone lost like $1 billion all because they didn't have the right defense.
Yeah.
When you have something quite like Ledger, and there are these opportunities for others who want what you have, they're constantly coming at you in new and creative ways. It keeps you on your toes to adjust to what's going on. So for me, each and every year presented a new challenge. A challenge of not becoming complacent, that was first and foremost, because it takes a lot to get to the top. And when you get to the top, it's not the best of, oh, wow, we're number one. No, it's even more work. And I think people have this misconception that because you're number one, things get easier. No, because you're number one, now you start working against yourself sometimes about, oh boy, did I do enough here? Oh, but I need to do that. And now as a leader, do you delegate certain things and allow your teammates and your team members to feel useful? Or do you take control and now they become disgruntled because there's no trust from the top of the leadership?
Well, I think that's a perfect analogy to also the way that we've had to grow things because, we're sort of like the brand that shouldn't have, that couldn't have, that did, because it was a financial system that you couldn't even imagine 10, 15 years ago. And through that, we've always had to build for security defenses that are sort of unpredictable, as Charles spoke about today. I think what's interesting that you're talking about too, though, in that sort of team dynamic is if you're in a role for a period of time, you have to make your role grow. Right? Like you have to be the vision that you want to embody eventually. And so as an athlete, you had to come in as the undrafted guy who then did the work somewhere else because you had that sort of self-reliance to come back.
The work never stops.
Yeah, never stops.
You never find easy on the other side of success. You find work on the other side of success because that's what allows it to transpire. And it comes in a variety of ways. Are you willing to go down that uncertain path towards your goal? There comes that fork in the road, and there's easy street, and then there's another street. We're not even going to give it a term of difficult. It's challenging. It's so many different variables. But if you're truly passionate and confident in who you are and what you do, you don't mind the work that it's going to take for you to get to your ultimate goal. So me not being drafted, I tell this story, and I was invited to Golden State's summer camp to possibly make their team. And I've been a part of different all-star teams and things like that prior to college. And so I get there, have 2 days of learning and absorbing all that the nuances are in a professional game. And their GM at the time, Donnie Nelson Jr., says to me after practice, "Hey, Bruce, thanks for coming, man. We really appreciate your effort." I said, "Well, it's going to be better tomorrow." And he kind of stops and he said, "Thank you, Bruce, for coming. We really appreciate your effort." And I realized then, I've been cut. I hadn't been cut in years. It's not to say, how dare they? But it was something that I had to adjust to. My adjustment was reality, but at the same time, what am I going to do now? What's next? And so France became an option right after that. And so my thought process was, I want to get to the NBA, but I have to go to France.
So you never stopped pushing?
Never stopped. I used France to become the better version of myself as to what I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. NBA was my dream. And just because I'm in France doesn't mean that it's a fork in the road of not allowing me to accomplish that. Now, I could have had the other thought process of, oh, wow, France is lovely. I'm going to be here and just see what happens.
Right.
Well, see, that's not pushing myself. I'm pushing myself to be in the top league in France. I'm pushing myself to lead the league in scoring. I'm pushing myself in a variety of ways to always become better.
Who was the other person, if there was one, that was kind of like your biggest cheerleader to help you get through that period of time?
Oh, you're talking about a support system.
Talking about a support system. not always given.
No.
But usually loved, if possible.
And that was the thing for me. My parents, my surrogate family, they were so supportive of me. And, whenever I do engagements, speaking engagements and things like that, I tell my story about how a kid from West Fresno whose mother was a drug addict, whose father wasn't around, who was raised by his grandparents, and then met his surrogate family around 18 years of age that took me in and showed me unconditional love. I mean, as an athlete, those words, unconditional love, is huge. And so I was very fortunate to be blessed with them. And I always knew that they had my back. And there's certain things that happen in life and you can see the excitement of folks or on things that you do. They're just like, oh, you're going to France. And I'm like, yeah, I don't speak French.
They're like, that's okay. You're going to be great.
Yeah. Well, they didn't give me that one.
Okay.
But they said, we're praying for you. And see, I think that's a statement where it is supportive but it's also, I'm not giving you false hopes in this.
Right. You got to work hard for this.
You got to work hard for this.
You're going further, farther, and deeper for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so going further and farther, I started to realize things about myself. If you really want this, Bruce, you say you want it, but do you really want it? Like that question is, I think everyone should ask themselves when they're trying to attain something and they get denied, that's when, do I really want this?
Yep.
And the answer should be on the side saying, well, if you're willing to go through what it takes, then we'll go that direction. But if you're not willing to go through it, then you're selling yourself short.
I was speaking to someone recently and they were like talking about the kind of the body and the mind. They were like, well, we can't convince the subconscious to receive something that it won't or that it doesn't want to. And I think that there is that truth to it. It's like you in your own progression have to decide that you're open to the next step.
Okay.
Otherwise, no one can force that for you, right? There are so many people that would have heard what you heard and said, I guess that's it.
Well, that's where they lose. They become defeated right then.
100%. But then when you kind of made it and you came back and then you joined the Spurs, you talked about Coach Pop in the panel earlier. What was that initial sort of meeting like? And did it feel like, because a lot of what you're talking about is obviously the Spurs iconic sort of pound the rock ethos. Did you immediately feel that sort of embodied? Was that
Take
a
a
piece
breeze.
of things then? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that more times.
I've seen it all over the place.
I'm sure you have.
And
yeah.
I too apply that with the teams that I've had. But, when it comes to leadership, it's important about connection. You and I talked about connection yesterday.
Yeah.
And when you are able to connect with a member of your team in a genuine way, that individual will do the most for you because they know that they have belief from you. And I think about, they treated me like a rock star in my recruitment. I remember going to San Antonio and you would hear of the big free agents visiting different teams. And I was never a big free agent, but I may have thought I was big in my own mind, but I didn't let it come out where people said, who do you think he is? So I get to San Antonio and, we have dinner that night. They take me around the city a little bit and then we have dinner. And I felt like I was being recruited for the first time and I'm a lottery pick. This is what they did for Tim Duncan. This is what they did for David Robinson. This is what they did for Manu.
Wow.
Tony, they didn't do that for Tony. Tony had a bad workout there. But it goes to show you about like even with Tony will tell you he had a terrible workout. And those were the moments where I think they learned so much more about Tony because in an adverse situation, he was willing to come back.
Right. And say, I'm betting on myself
I'm
to
betting
take
on
another shot here.
Oh, my goodness.
I will come back in with my head held high.
Absolutely.
Because I know what I have in me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I would say, obviously since then, you've had some incredible wins. I think you're really known as sort of a legend in the space, obviously as this defender. We at Ledger really talk about, defense and what we do. And I think that's some of the things that we're really excited about to work with in the Spurs. I have more questions for you sort of still personally, because I think it's interesting. And we were just saying earlier, it's also nice to have conversations that aren't so traditional crypto conversations, because I think that what you're describing are actually life philosophies that in this space are essential to not just survive, but to thrive in the right way with real principles that people need. When you would put your hand up, when you would defend, like, was it instinctual or were you like, I guess my question would be, in being the king of defense, how much did you have to actually like have fear when you were putting your hand up or worried about injury or worried about doing it the right way versus understanding that you could kind of trust yourself?
See, it's this boy brain of mine that, we don't raise our hand if we don't know the answer. We don't raise our hand with the hopes of, well, maybe they won't call on me, because they always called on me when I raised my hand. I didn't know the answer. So,
understood.
But understanding that I had a place on the floor. That was the biggest turnabout for me, is that in France, I was a scorer. I had to learn to become a better 3-point shooter in the NBA. but I always had the athleticism and the quickness in my feet to stay in front of guys. And if that's going to be my opportunity to get on the floor, then that's what I'm going with. Because I talked about earlier during the panel, starring in your role.
Yes, which I really thought that actually maybe we should talk about that here. 'Cause that was a really nice point.
Well,
I thought it was very well said.
Because everyone has a different job. Everyone has a different task. But if you're able to do your task the right way and someone else is able to do their task the right way, now we come together, you have a link. And so that link is stronger with multiple numbers doing their part. And so that was more or less about me getting on the floor and doing what I needed to do to be a part of something. As I got to San Antonio, it became very clear to me that, hey, this can really go somewhere. Defense, you think Ledger, protecting people's investments, protecting their savings. I mean, the protection thing is key in this because there's an old saying in basketball, you can win games, offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And that's what Ledger is about. Ledger's not about a couple of victories here and there. It's about championships.
100%. Actually, that's why when people ask us about price in the market or different things, we're like, we don't look at price. We're here for the long term. It doesn't matter to us. You could have $5 or you could have $100,000. You still need the same level of security. You still deserve the same level of security.
And that's part of what the Spurs believe in. It doesn't matter that you're Tim Duncan.
Right.
Bruce Bowen, you too will be held to this standard. And at the end of the day, that's how we operate. And I thought it was interesting that Pascal, we were talking yesterday, he talked about someone like, hey, what about when they ask for a raise? He's like, ask for a raise? If they do what they're supposed to, that happens. And I just thought that was so interesting. I'm taking care of you, but if you have to ask for a raise, then something's wrong here. And it's not with the system. It's usually with the individual. So when those that don't get it come in, they pan themselves out real quick because they don't understand what the culture truly is.
Every day now, do you still hear like a coach or someone's voice in your head when you're doing certain things?
I do, especially with corporate coaching.
Okay, yeah, because you do that now.
I do that now. I'm a certified strengths coach. And so I love strengths because they're based off of your strengths. So you take this assessment and you get these 5 qualities of who you are. Some people like to look at those qualities first. I don't. I like to connect with people and then watch how the labels come to who they are.
Yeah.
And so when I'm coaching, I'm always thinking of, I've been fortunate. I've had 4 Hall of Fame coaches, Pat Riley, Larry Brown, Rick Pitino, and Greg Popovich.
Crazy.
It really is, because I can think about moments, and I'll give you a little snippet of each one. Pat Riley was, if he drew up a play the wrong way, he stopped because he was about perfection. And he'd do it all over again. He'd sit us down every single day. It's about routine. Every single day we got 30 minutes of information coming from him. Some guys didn't like it. I was like a kid in a candy store because my path here, I'm like, oh, I get to hear this every day.
Yeah, you're like, this is amazing.
This is amazing. Hey, isn't this good, Tim?
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway's looking at me like, man, I'm tired.
Right.
Like, okay, all right. Chi-Town's finest, Tim Hardaway. But then Rick Pitino, he was just this young ball of energy, and he saw the game in different clips where he said, we're going to work, but we're not going to work long. And it's important that we understand he was always on 12, 1 out of 10. Always on 12. So you knew, okay, hey, I got to do my part.
Right.
I got to know what I'm supposed to do each and every time. Larry Brown was the ultimate teacher. We at practice, I remember guys said, hey, he doesn't really let us have fast breaks here. I'm like, what you mean? It's part of everybody get fast breaks. And as soon as we got one, stop. And when someone looks at him funny, he would be like, hey, I'm just trying to help in this. He made me feel so good about being on that team, and I didn't play.
Wow.
See, that's the power of what a leader has.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing, but he had us over for dinner for Thanksgiving. And I was like, wow. Not Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Not Theo Ratliff.
Yeah, no, you were seen.
Bruce Bowen was there.
Yeah.
And there was connection. And so then with Greg Popovich, we could sit in the car and he just dropped wisdom. I mean, the question on the panel was, what was a lesson that you learned from a coach or something to that effect? And I think it was Drew that said that he was reading the article of what he did good.
Yeah.
And it took me back to Pop because Pop said to me, he said, Bruce, they have a job to do. Their job is to write whatever it is at whatever time. So next week, you're probably not going to be very good. And they're going to write about that. And then you're going to come into practice looking all, oh, man, they tripping.
Yeah.
So they have a job to do. Worry about what's going on here, which is at Ledger. Hey, there's a lot of people on the outside doing things, saying things. As long as they understand what's important inside this building, sky's the limit.
We talk about that a lot here because depending on the country that you use crypto in, you really have a different understanding of what you might need it for. Or people who aren't using it yet have a very different perception. I mean, in the US, they might think it's just number go up or some kind of fast thing that's happening. But in some other countries, you're using a ledger, you're using your crypto because it's how you send, you send money to your family. You actually have it because of volatility. You have it because of inflation. You have it because you need to move your value from one place to another because you've got to go. And so it's really interesting philosophy because everyone could have a different understanding, but you need to know what you're doing. You need to know who you're serving. You need to know you're doing something that has a true, as Tony said earlier, it's a painkiller.
You know, you made a statement earlier about education in this, and we all understand that education is key in anything we do. I remember my great-grandparents would say certain things. I'm like, she would, like, if I had a Dr. Pepper, she would fill half of it up with water.
No.
Oh, yeah. That's too much sugar, little Bruce. I'm like it tastes like water.
You're like, I'm a kid.
That's right. I need my sugar high.
Yeah.
But I loved what you said as far as Ledger being a place where they will educate you. And when you think of older people, i.e. me, trying to learn something in the realm of, if it's on the computer, oh my goodness, I still have my AOL account. That's how far back I
mean,
go.
honestly, I love that for you. Listen, those original AIM handles were, but to that point, like education is so important to us, financial literacy, and really being able to make education that's understandable because you've got content overload today. It's actually awful, if you're trying to figure out what's real and what's fake, which is why we're so excited to work with the Spurs on financial literacy, especially digital asset financial literacy, because to your point, we always want to be the song that you want to remember, not the homework assignment. And that's very important.
You talk about the Spurs, we're one of the youngest teams in the NBA.
Exactly.
And the unfortunate part is that we're talking about 19, 18, 20, 22. A veteran now is Harrison Barnes, and I believe that Harrison is 38, maybe.
Nice man. Good guy.
Great guy. But I remember watching Harrison when he first came in the league, and now watching him as a leader, as a mentor. It goes back to what you're just saying about how we educate the youngsters and how we do things where we make it applicable for them to understand. And we're talking about a world that has different learning philosophies and different ways of learning things.
100%.
What has been the biggest challenge in that aspect of things as far as you're concerned?
Bruce just taking over the interview. I'm noticing this happening. I really think for us, one of the biggest challenges is giving people simple enough language to understand why it would be part of your daily life. Like if you're starting school, whatever kind of school that is, you're used to maybe having a credit card, a first bank account. Why wouldn't you just have your first ledger? Why wouldn't you know that this is just a piece of the puzzle? Why wouldn't you grow up today knowing your entire value system is online and think, I should have a say in some of that? I think we give up so many of our rights today just inherently by participating in the product. And it's unavoidable. And these athletes, you as an athlete, but these young athletes, they are the product and they are commoditized constantly. And they come into the system very young. They're not always taught how to actually think about their own financial futures, which was something that Drew and Matt were talking about earlier. And for us, it's really important to do things thoughtfully in a way that we hope will last over time. I say when I talk about the Spurs, it was an education for me because I really feel like the Spurs treat themselves like a nation state. Like, let's think about some long-term decisions that are going to last for a really long period of time. They have one of the highest engaged fans in the league. And you it's like crypto. You are up for the ups and you're down for the downs, and you have love all the way through if you're committed. And we need to actually create a relationship with people where when they see us, they feel that same way. And our fans here do, but it's that growth, going forward.
But I love that Pascal said that it was the things that lined up with one another. And that's something that I think that we can't overlook.
No.
You have to have similarities. There's the connection.
Well,
again.
everybody knowing their role and having that sort of teammate aspect. I mean, that the RC and Pascal together, that was like, okay, like the half-hour meeting went to a 2-hour meeting, and we left Madison Square Garden, and we thought, this is the time. And then it's so crazy because having you here now and having you start out in France and now coming back here and being so committed, like you came and you were just like, yeah, I'm a part of this.
That's right.
And when you spoke so eloquently about us together in this way that I think is so representative of why Ledger and the Spurs make sense together, but also how the Spurs, I think, have continued to have legend athletes that, like, you so know yourself. And so I'm so grateful that you're here and that you're with us. How has it felt being back in France, sort of like the place that you got your start in some ways?
It's been nostalgic, to say the least. Getting a chance to meet you all. I don't believe in accidents. I really don't. I believe that things happen for a reason in life. And I love the fact that I had this opportunity even here with Ledger to now learn a little bit more about what's going on in our current society. Being here, I should say, being at this celebration has been amazing for me to look at things from a standpoint of we can get very, very narrow-minded in what we think of things, but watching how there's such an energy here about Ledger and what goes on. I mean, even with the influencers, I was impressed that it wasn't about them. Usually when you think of influencers, there's always the cameras up and, oh, is that a good look? What's this angle and all that. But I saw people paying attention. I saw people vested in the process. Yeah. And it's not easy. It takes a team to make sure you find something quite like that. So to be able to do this along with the Spurs, I'm thrilled.
Well, we so appreciate it. I think I have a couple of rapid fire final ones.
Ooh.
Okay. First major big purchase.
First major big purchase.
Yeah.
First major big purchase would be a house. It was a house and it was too much house. Okay. I didn't need that house.
Too much house. So remember that, everyone that's watching. Too much house.
You don't need 2 stories.
Numbers go up. Keep it small.
There it is. Ooh.
Okay. Second rapid fire. What would be your advice to a Ledger fan that's just learning about you and the Spurs today, and what should they be thinking about their future?
Advice is education, education, education. Learn about Ledger. Don't go off of what someone tells you that's just saying, oh, it's this. Find out, do your own homework on something. And if they offer more information, delve into it even more so. Understand that everything has a beginning and an ending. You can't play basketball forever. You can't play what other sports forever. You have to have something to fall back on. So the more educated you can become on what Ledger provides, I think the better off you can set things up for life after whatever sport you're participating in.
100%. Don't trust, verify, and come up with...
Ronald Reagan? Go ahead.
That is not from me. An LOL at the Ronald Reagan comparison. Like, okay.
No. He said it a lot.
Did he say that a lot?
Yes, he did. He said, trust but verify.
I don't know. All right. And then, okay, my last one is, obviously there's a lot of amazing new athletes coming into the league. It would be silly if I didn't bring up Wemby. A big reason why we're excited to do the partnership is also because of the connection with France and young French players who are coming in. The Spurs were so early in finding international talent. What are you seeing from Wemby, and what would your advice be to him if he was across from you right now?
Oh boy. My advice for Wemby is remember what attracted you to this. It's the love of the game. He's been playing basketball a long time. He didn't just start playing and now have this great abundance about himself. I love the fact that he wants to be like the other French great that played there. And he has a great opportunity to do that. It's not to put anything about Tony that's negative. Tony carried the country for years. And I loved Tony's passion. And I think because of their connection and him playing for Tony when he was here, he's able to fall back on what Tony can say and tell him. Hey, when I'm having a tough time at this, how do I go about that? Kind of like when you go on the internet and you learn more about Ledger. You know, when you want to buy something, there's avenues for that. And so whenever you have that type of avenue, I think it allows greatness to take place. And all he has to do is continue to remember why he's doing it, just as Ledger does.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, the real thing for us a decade in is we're just beginning, you know? We're just beginning on the same mission, and that's what Pascal spoke about earlier. And I see that with you now in like the way that you're coming through and your connection and in sort of like your defense of personhood in connection today, which is so special. And Bruce, we're so grateful you're here as a Spurs legend, here as a person, being a part of Ledger Open. Thank you.
That's it. I just got comfortable.
What else do you want to talk about? No. We keep going.
It's up to you. I mean, I'm here for a short time, but not all the time. So.
I feel like we've taken up so much of it.
Oh yeah? I don't feel that way. When it's fun and when it's purposeful, it doesn't feel like any of what you said.
Well,
it really does feel in a great space of connection and education. You know, I just want to know that, you know, I just have another question. Being that you were from Chicago, what is your thought process on LeBron James being the GOAT and you going to this place called the United Airlines Arena at one point, watching what I consider as the GOAT?
Well, I know that you've done some dirty work on LeBron, so I appreciate you bringing that up. I absolutely do think Jordan is the GOAT. I mean, I grew up as a kid going to the Bulls when they would give out the Like Mike basketball and cassette tape song. And I was the biggest fan. I used to absolutely like practice in the driveway, and you know, downtown Chicago. I wish I had all the trading cards. That was actually one of like the best things about when I first came to Vice was there was the Bulls connection with like the North Korea shoot that we were able to do, and it's funny because people talk about having that affinity to their player, to their city. I never, after the sort of like Jordan era, knew who was playing for the Bulls, but I knew if I saw the Bulls anywhere, especially in Paris, I was like, you're going to be my friend. And it's funny because I was at a pickup basketball game this weekend in the Marais, just because I was like, I need to like re-immerse myself in this world.
Okay.
And I went and I hung out all morning, and like there was a teenager and he had on some Spurs basketball shorts. And I walked up and I was like, yo, Spurs, what's up? And he was like, his face lit up. And I think that like teams create this recognition where you see someone that calls you out with it and you immediately feel a little more at home. And that's something I hope we're building with the brand at Ledger. It's like if you see a Ledger, you see someone who's into it, you know, like they've got your back. And it's been something from childhood that I've always loved. Like, yes, turn up the radio for the stat because it's bringing you that familial joy. It's harder and harder to get that today. So I think it's really beautiful. We get to be part of it. We take it really seriously. It's special for us. It's special for what we're saying in France, and it's special for, I really think, the respect that the Spurs team has for its community. And we're going to be there next week. I'm really just happy to, you know, hang with the Coyote and have a good time.
I mean, next week or next month?
2 weeks.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just making sure.
November
check my
6th.
phone.
November
make sure
6th.
I get a hit.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in town, Bruce.
Obviously,
What
you
we
already
eating?
know. Pascal has pulled you in.
So you said something that took me back to pickup basketball. You said not that you learn everybody's name. It's just you get on the floor and you just start playing, right?
100%.
But it's when you emulate something of someone, that's when you know you've arrived at the pickup game.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You're going to have a tall guy that's going to shoot a three. And they go, yo, Wemby, what up, baby?
Yeah.
I see you, Wemby.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you say, yo, Spurs.
Stands up a little,
So
a little taller.
That person lit up when you say, yo, Spurs, you know, and I see it in your face. But in comparison of the GOAT and LeBron, I notice you really didn't tell me much other than your GOAT, which is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I used to do this comparison. Like, I would tell people why I felt like Michael Jordan was it.
Yeah.
And Michael went through Detroit Pistons, getting beat up, Scotty disappearing, not starring in his role.
Totally.
He too busy, had ice on his neck saying he had I have a concussion. Not that we're minimizing concussions, but
Totally.
And so, once they got past them, and it was like that was their failure. As we talked about failing in different things before we become something else.
Totally.
When we swept Cleveland Cavaliers in 07, little fact check. LeBron's never beat me in a game in the finals. I just want you to know that.
I wanted you to bring that up.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
glad.
I'm picking up what you're dropping.
Yeah.
And that was a test for him. What did he do soon after that? He fled for Miami, who had stars there. Now, people want to talk about, well, you need three stars on a team to compete, but you develop them within your team.
Yeah, of course.
See, with Michael Jordan, developed Pippen, developed Horace Grant, developed B.J. Armstrong. They continued to develop. And so he didn't leave them because I'm sure he could have gone somewhere.
For sure.
But that was sacrilegious.
Yeah.
So LeBron does that. And I think that was his period of college for him. He got disciplined with Pat Riley. Pat Riley he doesn't care who you are. There's a story about chocolate chip cookies on a plane. They felt like LeBron was starting to gain a little bit too much. And so they stopped serving cookies.
Stop.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
we'll get you some tea.
Well, the fact that he was held accountable. As kids, we don't like it when we're held accountable. And so he ended up returning back to Cleveland. But while he was in Miami, he learned the value of what a system is.
I think you have to have constraints to have full creative expansion in whatever you're, really
100%.
strong in. I would say for us, that's absolutely if Ledger can give you more peace of mind at night, you can experiment in this space and bring someone else into it, and it's so necessary. The same thing you were sort of talking about. Like, you need to know what you excel at and how you work with people to have that trust so that you're just in the moment doing the absolute best that you can. I think it would be impossible to try to succeed without it, especially if you're doing something new.
Oh, and the vision.
Yeah.
You talked about what was my vision, my thoughts. Well, I think of Pascal's whole vision of this is going to work, and how many naysayers. So you got to tune out the outside. And as you stated, who was your support system? You all are your own support system. That's what I love about Ledger. Everyone supports one another here. Walking around, it's even though it's a hectic day, but I still see support from team members. And if you don't have that on a team, you have nothing.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I said to the team this morning, I said, you're all here because you're excellent. And we believe that you can be excellent, and we're going to do it today, and that's what I feel like we saw. And of course, one or two people get more of the thank yous, but it's like everybody that's actually doing the work. And I think that that's what's such a joy about having that teamwork and having that ability to craft new partnerships where you can continue to expand how you show up. And that's really a special thing. We bet on the young, and we bet on creativity, and we bet that an industry is rapidly changing and that there's space for that in our current world, even with an oversaturated, crazy algorithm where it's hard to understand even what the truth is, And I think having great people like you in the building, having my friend Joe and you and the guys all together, I was like, this is awesome.
It really was.
So I mean it, and I thank you, and I definitely more to come.
There it is. That's a mic drop. But we're not going to drop the mic.
We're not going to drop the mic because it's connected.